I'm just looking at Daniel's question, which I think is worth just reading out because it's brilliant. Most endurance athletes are still very low carb focused. A lot of my triathlete friends basically carb load every day. Not surprisingly, many of them are pre-diabetic on statins, taking medication, high blood pressure. How far are we from seeing a real change in the way endurance athletes approach nutrition? Do you want to
Yeah,
answer?
Daniel, that's a great question because it's really got bad in the last year or two. And the idea that you must take in lots of carbohydrate during exercise has become a dominant theme. It's exactly what we had with water. You couldn't drink enough water. You must drink as much water as tolerable. Now it's you must eat as much carbohydrate as tolerable during exercise. And I've got into a lot of battles on Twitter. But it is changing, and you're noticing it. But there's a guy called Lionel Sanders who is a world-class Ironman triathlete, world class. And I think he's won the Ironman or he's come second, certainly. And he suddenly announced, I've got a sugar addiction, I've got type 2, I'm pre-diabetic, and I have to stop it because I'm killing myself. And he's in his mid-30s. He's the first one to come out. Then I tweeted a few days ago a picture from an article showing the 24-hour continuous glucose monitors in an elite athlete, and I think he's a Tour de France cyclist because he had a very high capacity for exercise. It was a disaster. His glucose was all over the place. And so I said, this looks to me like he's pre-diabetic. This doesn't look normal. And oh boy, was the kickback. Oh, how can you say it's abnormal? This is blah, blah, blah. How can an athlete be pre-diabetic? How can a Tour de France cyclist be pre-diabetic? Well, if you saw what they ate, it's the worst diets I've ever seen. But because they're performing well, the people get confused and think, well, that's what you need. But you don't. It's interesting that I was helping a South African cyclist. He was on the carnivore diet, eating a high-fat diet. He actually got selected for a professional team in Europe, professional cycling team. And they told him, we're not having anything of that nonsense. So he gets on the team because he's eating a high-fat diet. When he gets on the team, they say, no, you've got to change to a high-carb diet. Yeah, it's a long way to go still. But I think that article is going to make a difference. And the debate I'm having with Louise Burke is going to definitely have an influence because you can't hide it. And that's also in one of the leading journals, American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. So what that means is that the average doctor, the average physician, the average endocrinologist is going to see this debate. And then they're going to see, my gosh, there is an argument for the low carb diet. And the argument for the high carb diet is very, very weak at very best.